I hypothesized that if a person is in a lower socioeconomic status or a social class, then they are less likely to obtain success in the health field. However, I thought that if they were in a pipeline program, the results may be different for that individual because they get so much support from those programs.
The Senior Defense is a culminating project that all seniors are required to do in order to graduate. Because we are a health and science focused school, all students who've had internships in their 11th and 12th grade year, based on the internship site and what they're interested in, they develop a question and they research it throughout the year. And then in the end of the year, they present out and defend their work to a panel.
Life Academy, for our junior and senior year, we have to do an internship in order to graduate. In my second semester of my 10th grade year, I applied to Faces for the Future and I got in, and I've been at it for 2.5 years now. Our senior defense actually had to relate to our internship in some form because Faces for the Future is a pipeline program that kind of introduces minorities to the health field directly. It was easy for me to find a connection between my senior project and Faces for the Future. I'm working directly with the staff while they're trying to recruit new interns, and I'm working with some residents as well, and I've been talking to a couple of them about their journey, and I kind of realized like how hard it is to become a physician just from doing this research and talking to them.
To prepare the seniors for the senior defense, I believe it actually begins in the junior year with their junior investigative project. The junior year, they do almost exactly the same thing. You know, they have an internship, they design a research question and they research it and they present out on it, but it's not as high stakes. So it's really just a poster presentation.
Let's say Asians and whites, for example, they make a lot more of the pie chart for the median income, which means they have a way higher representation in the California physician demographics. And this supports my hypothesis because it shows that those that have a lower medium income or that does not have enough money or in the lower socioeconomic class are less likely to obtain success. As you can see, African Americans and Latinos are largely underrepresented in this pie chart. We were given a rubric at the beginning of the project, and we knew that it was going to be really hard. We had to do a lot of research. We had to manage our time better. We have to schedule our own interviews. We have to write our own papers. We have to meet with our advisors to edit our paper on our own time. And we also had to think a lot on our feet because of the questioning part at the end.
They have a whole class period dedicated to their internship as well as doing the research and typing and drafting and all that stuff. There's 2 teachers that are supporting that, and they've been, looking at all the drafts before they come to the advisor. The advisor's rules has always been like with the proposal paper and checking in with them. Ultimately, the advisor does the grading. Now we've been meeting with our advisees to go over the presentation and what they're missing or if they've passed.
Our advisor really checks in with us every once in a while. If we ever need to talk about something school-related or not school-related, we could talk to our advisor, and we kind of have a personal connection now. What I found really interesting was that the less education someone needed to obtain a job in healthcare, the more diverse the field is. People are kind of discouraged to pursue a prestigious career. They kind of have to get to work as soon as possible so they can support their family. So that concludes my presentation. Is there any questions?
Well, you showed some data that showed that many people of color, minorities, are socioeconomically disadvantaged. Mm-hmm. But there's a percentage of minority communities that are not socioeconomically, mm-hmm. and yet the numbers of representation are still poor in healthcare, right? Mm-hmm. So do you have any sense of what maybe some other reasons why there is such poor representation of minority communities in healthcare beyond socioeconomic?
I feel like resources is really important in order for anyone to obtain a career in the health field. Without the right resources, and right connections, it's really hard to obtain a career of such high prestige. So just because a lot of people are rich does not necessarily mean they have connections. Their parents might have connections, but if they don't use those connections well, they might not be represented.
Being able to defend your work is huge. So if a student is able to answer questions that they have no idea what they are, they're not prepared, really shows the depth of their understanding. And I think that we as a school really feel like that's important to be able to take those skills and then apply it to a new situation. That's sort of where the defense model came from.
I thought he was very articulate. For somebody his age, he chose a very complicated question. It's a question that large statewide coalitions are trying to answer at this point, right? Professionals with much more advanced degrees are trying to put an answer to that. And I really applaud him for trying to tackle a very complicated question. And I think he did a great job.
His ability to point out some of the complexities with the research, and obviously he's trying to grapple with, I mean, clearly from his list of research, he's really trying to grapple with a lot of information.
I was very impressed by the way he disentangled the issue of the Asian challenge and the data.
All right, so he definitely passes almost with distinction. Plus, fabulous. I'm going to call him back in.
Brian, congratulations, you passed. We thought you did a fabulous job. I think we were really impressed with your analyzing skills of just being able to really grapple with the data. So it was very impressive, and we felt like you did a great job. So congratulations. The senior defense passage rate varies from year to year. Everybody usually passes. It's very rare if a student doesn't. I mean, we make them do it until they pass. So many times it's just some sort of gap, something that they were missing, and they just need to go back and fine-tune it or research a little more and then present out or have another discussion or add to their paper or whatever it is that they need to. If the student's been pretty diligent, then they can get to that point. And then in some extreme cases, they may have to redo something huge, and that might require them to do a lot more additional work.
I also interviewed a psych nurse in Telecare, Ola, and I asked her if Telecare has been a successful program, and she says it has been. She's been working there 10 years, and she has seen how the clients have improved and the programs that have been the most helpful to them.
I would say the evidence lacked rigor. I mean, not only in the breadth of evidence to leave it at 2 interviews and I guess 1 literature that seems fairly short term, and then also to connect it to you know, her actual statement.
I think there was just a couple of things that we want you to fix. I can definitely help you in looking at this, and definitely in Ms. Rigotti's class. I think your guys will spend time to add that stuff in, and then you'll just end up just presenting it to me.
Okay.
Probably. Okay. I think the senior defense has been most successful in that it's really an authentic audience, and students really rise to that occasion. You won't have students revising their work as much or practicing their presentation or work as hard as if it was something that they just had to present in class or they just had to turn it into a teacher. To have to sit in front of a panel by themselves and talk about something that they've been working on, I think is very challenging. There's no escape from it in that sense, like there's no relying on somebody else. You really have to do it. And so I think that's been really rewarding because students will work really hard.
I think senior defenses will really push seniors. It will force them to just lay off of the book studies and just kind of memorizing things for class. It would really force them to think on their feet. I feel like all of the things we've learned from senior defense will be helpful when we go to college.